I want to know who is to blame for the fall of the Western Roman Empire. And in this video, I am going to speak about the Roman system of government. And the book that I'm going to use is Italy and Her Invaders by Thomas Hopkins. In his book, he says that he's not going to go into too many details. Therefore, I am also not going to go into too many details. With no more to say, let's speak about the Roman system of government during the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was divided into 4 prefectures, 2 in the east and 2 in the west. Each prefecture was divided into dioceses. There were 13 dioceses, and the dioceses are divided into provinces. There are 116 provinces. With these divisions in mind, let's speak about the highest positions in each division. Let's start with the civil offices and then move on to the military offices. The civil offices are as follows. The Praefectus Praetorio had the control over the prefecture, and this was the highest civil position after the emperor. The Vicarius had control over the diocese, and he was under the Praefectus Praetorio. Clarissimus Consularis, sometimes Clarissimus Corrector, other times Perfectissimus Praeses, had control over the provinces. Why are there 3 names instead of 1? I have no idea, and I think that it doesn't matter. Thomas Hopkins mentions them, but he doesn't explain what they mean. All of these positions basically enforce the law. Now that we have all government positions, let's speak about military positions. In the Western Roman Empire, there were supposed to be 3 military positions that were supposed to be the highest military positions in the prefectures. The military positions were Magister Peditum in Praesenti, which it was the most important. Magister Equitum in Praesenti, which it was the second most important one. And then we have Magister Equitum per Gallias. The Magister Peditum in Praesenti and the Magister Equitum in Praesenti were supposed to rule over the soldiers in the prefecture of Italy. Meanwhile, the Magister Equitum per Gallias was supposed to rule over the cavalry in the prefecture of Gaul. Sometimes you are going to see the name Magister Utriusque Militiae. This title is for the person who is Magister Peditum and Magister Equitum at the same time. In the early times, the 2 offices were supposed to be separate, but later emperors didn't care if one person controlled both offices at the same time. Let's move on to the dais. The highest military position in the dais was the comes, and he had control over the soldiers in his dais. And the last military office that I'm going to speak about is the dux. The dux was the highest military position in the province, and he had control over the soldiers of that province. This is where the civil and military offices end, and I wish I was finished. But to finish this video, I want to speak about the positions appointed by the emperor. The civil offices that the emperor appointed were the Praefectus Praetorio of Italy, the Praefectus Praetorio of Gaul, the Praefectus Urbis Romae. This was the guy who controlled Rome, the Magister Officiorum, the Quaestor, and the Comes Sacrarum Largitionum. The military offices that the emperor appointed were Magister Peditum in Praesenti, Magister Equitum in Praesenti, and Magister Militum per Gallias. The household offices that the emperor appointed were praepositus sacri cubiculi, comes rerum privatarum, comes domesticorum peditum. Let's speak about these positions in the simplest way possible. The praefectus praetorio, which I already spoken about, he is the highest government position in the prefecture, and he is in charge of executing the laws of the emperor and to arbitrate disputes or appeals in his prefecture. The praefectus urbis Romae, he is the exact same thing as the praefectus praetorio, but not for the prefecture, but for the city of Rome and the land around it, up to 100 miles. The Magister Officiorum, he controls the communications between the emperor and other people, either inside of the empire or outside. He also hires guards for the emperor, and he takes care of the manufacturing of weapons and military stuff for the emperor. The quaestor, he prepares the emperor's speeches and the language of the law. Comes sacrarum largitionum, he controls anything related to money. For example, printing money. They didn't really print money, they minted it, but it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean. The position of Magister Peditum in praesenti, Magister Equitum in praesenti, and Magister Equitum per Gallias were supposed to control war and everything related to war. And they were the highest military position in the prefecture. The praepositus sacri cubiculi, I have no idea what he does. Thomas Hawkins compares him to a cabinet minister, which ultimately means that he was a very important secretary. Hawkins strongly hints that this was just a way to get some work out of the emperor's back. So maybe that's what it was. The comes rerum privatarum, he took care of the emperor's physical property and maintenance, but his role and duties were comparable, if not similar to, the comes sacrarum largitionum. The positions of comes domesticorum peditum and comes domesticorum equitum were supposed to command the personal guards and army of the emperor, which were comparable to police officers or a private army. Thomas Hawkins actually compares them to the Praetorian Guard. And this is the end. This was the Western Roman system of government. I just wanted to go over this system of government because I want to know who is to blame for the fall of the Western Roman Empire.